Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today as we explore a fascinating topic. Today's presentation is titled Impact of Multinational Companies in India, and it's part of a research exploration tailored for MBA students and faculty in international business. Over the next few minutes, we'll look beyond just numbers and figures to understand how foreign direct investment, or FDI, genuinely transforms India's economy. We'll examine how multinational companies influence job markets, innovation, and overall economic growth. So, let's get started and uncover what really happens after FDI flows into the country. So, in this slide, I want to explore a really important question about FDI, foreign direct investment, and its actual impact on society and the economy. Basically, we're asking whether FDI truly creates meaningful, real socioeconomic change, or if it's just about impressive numbers on paper. You might wonder, is technology genuinely being transferred? Are local skills actually being developed? And most importantly, do new jobs really get created as a result? We know that FDI plays a big role in driving India's economic growth. But the key question is, what's happening on the ground? Every year, we see numerous multinational companies, or MNCs, setting up manufacturing units, R&D centers, service hubs, and supply chains all across India. But beyond the headlines and statistics, we need to ask ourselves, are these investments translating into lasting transformation? Is it just about growth figures, or are we truly seeing a change in people's lives and communities? This brings us to the core of today's discussion. Is FDI merely about growth numbers, or does it really foster genuine transformation? That's the big question we'll keep in mind as we move forward. Our goal with this slide is to really understand how FDI inflow is changing India's economy in real, tangible ways. We're looking at how local suppliers and industries grow as a result of these foreign investments, which can have a big ripple effect on the entire supply chain. Additionally, we want to explore how advanced technology and modern management practices introduced by multinational corporations influence Indian businesses. Another key aspect is technology transfer, how new innovations and know-how are being shared and adopted locally. We also consider the new skills and competencies Indian workers gain through their exposure to multinational companies, which helps build a more capable workforce. And of course, we're interested in the employment impact, how FDI creates jobs, raises wages, and improves the quality of employment opportunities available to people. All of these points tie back to our overarching research purpose and objectives, to get a comprehensive picture of the actual changes and impacts that foreign direct investment brings to India's economy, beyond just the numbers. This is about understanding the real, on-the-ground effects that shape growth, innovation, and development. When we talk about FDI, or foreign direct investment, it's important to understand that its true potential goes far beyond just bringing in capital. The critical insight here is that FDI must lead to a real transformation in production capacity, skills, competitiveness, and innovation. In other words, it's not enough to simply attract money. We need to see a deep and sustained impact that actually reshapes our economy. This kind of economic transformation is only possible if the effects of FDI are meaningful and long-lasting. That means focusing on how FDI can help build a stronger, more resilient economic foundation over time. And to support this, the government is actively implementing initiatives like the production-linked incentive schemes and the Make in India campaign. These policies are designed to attract large-scale FDI and encourage local manufacturing and innovation. As a result of these efforts, India is increasingly becoming a preferred hub for large global companies. We're seeing a shift where international players recognize India's potential as a strategic destination for their investments and operations. So, why does this research matter? Well, understanding these dynamics helps us see how targeted policy measures and strategic investments can turn FDI into a powerful driver of sustainable growth. It's about creating an environment where foreign investments lead to real, lasting development, making India a truly global destination for business and innovation. Let's now turn our attention to the question of whether foreign direct investment, or FDI, contributes to balanced regional economic growth. This is a crucial area to explore because while FDI can bring many benefits, it's important to understand if those benefits are spread evenly across different regions. We want to see if FDI helps less developed areas catch up, or if its advantages are concentrated in already prosperous zones. So the key question here is, does FDI promote inclusive growth that benefits all regions equally? This will help us assess whether FDI is truly a driver of nationwide economic development, or if its impact is more localized. Understanding this dynamic will be vital in shaping policies that aim for more equitable growth across the country. Now, let's take a closer look at the key stakeholders involved in this study. We've engaged industry experts who bring valuable insights from their respective fields. HR managers and cluster heads have provided us with on-the-ground perspectives, especially around talent and regional dynamics. We also included input from local suppliers, whose experiences help us understand the supply chain nuances. MNC employees participated as respondents, giving us first-hand accounts of working in these diverse sectors and regions. Speaking of regions, our study covers several major hubs across India. These include Delhi NCR, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra, each with its unique economic and industrial landscape. This regional coverage ensures that our findings are comprehensive and representative of the broader market. In terms of sectors, we focused on key industries like retail and logistics, IT and global capability centers, pharma and life sciences, electronics and semiconductors, and automotive manufacturing. These sectors are crucial because they drive employment, innovation, and economic growth in the country. Overall, the scope of this study is quite broad but targeted. We aim to capture a wide range of perspectives across different regions and industries to better understand the current landscape and emerging trends. This holistic approach helps us formulate insights that are not only accurate but also actionable for stakeholders across the board. Now, moving on to slide 7, let's delve into the outcomes of the Make in India initiative. We've gathered a variety of data sources to assess its impact. This includes skill development reports, industry data from DPIIT, RBI FDI reports, and secondary data analysis. In the secondary data analysis, we compare the situation before and after the initiative's implementation to see the tangible changes. For example, we look at companies like Siemens, Amazon, Hyundai, Samsung, and Toyota to understand how they've grown or adapted. These are some of the successful MNC examples that highlight the positive outcomes. We also explore case studies focusing on HR transformation, supplier development, technology transfer, and best practices. These case studies help us understand what strategies have worked well on the ground. Our key topics cover the perspectives of 20 to 25 managers and policymakers, giving us insights into decision-making and policy impact. Additionally, we conducted interviews with about 200 employees working in MNCs, where we explored their experiences with technology usage, work environment, training exposure, salary growth, and skills gained. On the quantitative side, we carried out surveys that provided us with measurable data, helping us understand broader trends and patterns. All these methods, surveys, interviews, secondary data analysis, come together to give us a comprehensive picture of the Make in India outcomes, connecting the dots between policy, industry, and workforce development. Now, let's take a closer look at how we assess different aspects of our organizational health and growth. First, we have the Employee Satisfaction Index, which helps us evaluate work culture, job security, and career growth opportunities. This is crucial because a satisfied workforce is more engaged and productive. Next, we look at the Supplier Development Scorecard, which assesses how well we integrate local vendors and build their capacity. Strong vendor relationships are vital for ensuring supply chain resilience and quality. We also track salary progression and compensation patterns using the Wage Growth Tracker. This tool helps us understand pay trends and ensure competitive, fair compensation for our employees. Moving on, the technology adoption checklist measures how effectively we're implementing automation, digitalization, and process innovation. Staying current with technology is key to maintaining efficiency and competitiveness. Finally, the skill improvement scale evaluates our efforts in competency development and training effectiveness. Investing in our people's skills is fundamental to continuous improvement and long-term success. All these tools and metrics connect to our overall goal of fostering a high-performance, innovative, and resilient organization. They provide the insights we need to make informed decisions and drive sustainable growth. Let's take a closer look at some of the challenges and positive impacts we've observed. First, there's a clear regional imbalance where foreign direct investment, or FDI, tends to be concentrated in metro clusters. This means that other regions might be missing out on growth opportunities. Additionally, contracts often favor larger suppliers, which means that MSMEs, smaller and medium enterprises, are getting less access and fewer benefits. Domestic firms also face intense global competition, making it harder for them to grow and thrive locally. Sometimes, technology transfer is limited, which can slow down the overall innovation process. Now, on the positive side, we've seen wage increases in certain clusters, reflecting growth and improved competitiveness. There's also growth in local supplier networks, which helps build a more resilient and integrated economy. Faster adoption of new technologies is happening, along with high-level skills training in areas like automation, robotics, and quality standards, all of which are vital for staying competitive. Additionally, improvements in work culture and modern management practices are making workplaces more efficient and attractive. We're also seeing the creation of new jobs across manufacturing and services sectors, which is a great sign of economic vitality. So overall, while there are challenges to address, like regional disparities and technology transfer issues, the positive impacts are encouraging. They point towards a more dynamic, skilled, and inclusive economic landscape, aligning well with our broader goals of sustainable growth and development. Key takeaway: Indian companies must actively learn and adapt to remain competitive. This means that we need to commit resources to research and development, as well as technological advancement. Investing in innovation is crucial for staying ahead in the global market. Building robust supplier ecosystems and fostering collaborative relationships is essential. Strengthening partnerships can lead to greater efficiency and resilience in our supply chains. Additionally, implementing international quality benchmarks, automation, and safety protocols helps us meet global standards and improve our operational excellence. Learning from multinational companies by adopting their best practices in operational efficiency and excellence can significantly boost our performance. The overall message here is that for Indian industry to thrive in a competitive environment, continuous learning, adaptation, and strategic collaboration are key. We must embrace these principles to stay relevant and competitive on the world stage. Now, let's talk about creating integrated industrial clusters, which are essential for fostering a robust ecosystem. This involves building the right infrastructure and ensuring that support systems are in place to encourage collaboration and growth. Next, promoting cluster development is crucial. By focusing on developing these clusters, we can create hubs of innovation and manufacturing that benefit the entire economy. To make technology transfer more effective, we need to make agreements more stringent and measurable. This ensures accountability and that the transfer of technology actually results in tangible benefits. Enforcing technology transfer is about ensuring compliance and making sure that the agreed-upon technologies are implemented properly, which ultimately boosts local capabilities. Supporting small and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, is also vital. We should help them learn and adopt global quality standards, enabling them to compete better internationally. Aligning skill development initiatives with the actual requirements of multinational corporations is another key point. This means tailoring training programs to meet real workforce needs, making sure talent is ready for the jobs that MNCs offer. Finally, attracting foreign direct investment to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities can promote more balanced regional development. Expanding geographic reach helps distribute growth more evenly across the country, reducing regional disparities. For government and policymakers, these strategies imply a need for proactive policies that support cluster creation, enforce technology transfer, develop MSMEs, align skills with industry needs, and encourage FDI in less developed regions. Implementing these measures will help create a more inclusive and resilient industrial ecosystem, aligning with our overall goal of sustainable economic growth. The arrival of multinational companies in India truly presents a tremendous opportunity for our economic growth. But the key is that we need to utilize this opportunity strategically and prepare ourselves comprehensively. When we look at the research conclusions, it's clear that these companies are innovation-focused, with strong R&D capacities. They bring skilled, trained workforces and are supported by robust infrastructure. However, the real impact of this influx of FDI is only realized when India is ready to leverage these advantages. It's about more than just investment. It's about how we turn that investment into jobs, skills, new technology, and enhanced global competitiveness. In the end, what we're really talking about is FDI as a catalyst for transformation. It's not just capital, it's an opportunity to reshape our economy, our industries, and our future. And that's the true potential we need to unlock.